So can we wait for a few minutes, like 2 minutes, and then we can start the program?
Yeah,
So,
okay.
yes, sir.
No problem.
Thank you. Oh.
Good evening, dear participants. I'm Manasa Vatsavai, Assistant Professor of Civil Engineering at Sri Vishnu Engineering College for Women. Can somebody please tell me whether my voice is audible or not?
Yes, madam, please proceed. Yes,
Okay, thank
we will
you.
start. Yeah.
Okay, sir. Today I'm here to introduce Dr. KVR Ravishankar Garu, who is today's chief key speaker. About KVR Ravishankar. Dr. KVR Ravishankar is currently holding the position of Assistant Professor in the Department of Civil Engineering, National Institute of Technology, Warangal. He has obtained his PhD in Transportation Systems Engineering from IIT Mumbai, Masters in Transportation Engineering from Jawaharlal Nehru Technological University, Hyderabad, and he has obtained his bachelor's degree in Civil Engineering from Kakatiya University, Warangal. Dr. Ravishankar had supervised 4 PhDs and now 3 PhDs are on board. Has 43 master dissertations in his account also. Dr. Ravishankar holds professional membership in Indian Road Congress, that is IRC, and Institute of Urban Transport, that is IUT, as a life member. Also, he is a reviewer or editorial board member of several journals like Periodica Polytechnica, that is Transportation Engineering, IET, that is Intelligent Transport Systems, Transportation Letters, the International Journal of Transportation Research, Journal of the Institute of Engineers India, Series A, Trends in Transportation Engineering and Applications, TTEA. Dr. Ravishankar has authored and co-authored around 30 well-reputed journal publications, 36 publications in international and national conferences and symposiums, along with a publication in Traffic Infratech magazine. His works also include a book chapter under Springer International Publishing. Apart from these, he was an active member in the area of research with 3 sponsored projects, which include DST Fast Track Project for Young Scientists, Sustainable Urban Transport Project under the Ministry of Urban Development, Government of India, MHRD sponsored Research Seed Money Project. He is also a part of some major consultancy works also. His research interests include pedestrian behavioral analysis and modeling, crowd dynamic analysis and emerging evacuation planning, mixed traffic flow modeling and simulation model development, non-lane based behavior modeling and nanoscopic model development, capacity analysis of highways under mixed traffic conditions. Also, Dr. Ravishankar has been an expert speaker for years and has delivered some valuable lectures till date. With this brief introduction, I feel privileged to hand over this session to Dr. KVR Ravishankar Garu. So please take over your.
Welcome, sir.
Yeah, well, thank you for the detailed introduction. Okay, let me share the screen first. I hope the screen is visible to all of you.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Can you make it full screen?
Yeah, I am doing it. Is it fine? My voice is clear?
Our voice is clear and this is visible, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, right. If any disturbance is there, please kindly let me know.
Good, sir. Good, sir.
Okay. Then thank you, the organizers and all the participants for taking this time and in this presentation. And so let us have a small discussion on what is the role of these different stakeholders and towards road safety and how all we can contribute towards a better, safe future. So that is what the main agenda I would like to discuss through this presentation, and I'll be just showing some kind of a maybe some kind of a 1 or 2 case studies kind of a thing. So just then those things are for the educational purpose, nothing else. And wherever it is required, I might have given the source of that information. But in case I have missed it, I'm sorry for that, and I acknowledge all the resources that I have taken from them. And this is the plan. So we'll just start with a basic introduction. What is the global and Indian road safety scenario? How it is moving in and how it is growing up, and how difficult it is, and how the situation is compared to our kind of a pandemic situation what we are facing now. So now we are discussing about this kind of a pandemic situation, but the road safety scenario is much more critical than this kind of a situation. So that is the starting point of our discussion, and then we'll move towards understanding the various stakeholders who are involved in this road safety exercise and some of the design aspects. And further, we'll also have a small discussion on what is this kind of a SER, self-explaining roads or forgiving roads. How can we better implement the design practices, the better design practices, and the role of the different academic and research institutes. Of course, towards the end, we'll end up with the role of environment and the chance or the destiny. Okay, so that is my plan. Let us go how well it will be. Just if you look at the global road safety scenario, so as per some of the estimates, every year there is almost like 1.35 million road traffic deaths. That is obviously more than the current pandemic situation, definitely. But only thing is we are not no we are taking so many steps. There have been several uh, research directions have been taken up, and there are several movements, several workshops, and this is also one step towards in that direction as a part of the road safety month. But still there is a lot to be done from all the stakeholders. And road traffic injuries are the cause of the death among the children aged 5 to 14. And this is a cause for worry. And if you look at this, that is the first uh, cause for worry, and 54% of the road traffic deaths are pedestrians or cyclists or motorcyclists. It is two-wheelers. So that is really a worrying factor, and we have to look at improving the situation for the vulnerable road users, comprising of a majority of them, particularly in our country. And if you look at the top 10 leading causes of the death, so this is the situation in 2004, it is in ninth position, but by 2030, they are expecting it to be in the fifth position, but definitely it will be in the top three positions if proper precautions are not taken into account by all the stakeholders. And if you look at the WHO statistics, so there is a this is the situation. So Africa has the highest road traffic death rates per 1 lakh population, and if you look at the Asian countries also, it is 18.5. And relatively, if you look at the European countries, are in a better situation, safer situation compared to the other regions. But still, we need to learn a lot from all of them. And the main worrying factor is this is what just now I mentioned in the previous slides also regarding this category of the road users between 15 to 19 years and between 20 to 24 years. So that is occupying the number one position, and that is in the younger age group also, in the middle age group also, it is either occupying the first or the second positions. And overall, of course, it is an eighth, but this is a cause for worry. And every one of this, everyone who is involved in this workshop or related to this kind of aspects has to take a proactive role in identifying the safety issues and educating our friends and family members. So that is the reason why I have selected this topic also regarding the role of the stakeholders. And that is the global scenario. Now coming to the Indian scenario also, it is not still uh, worse than the other countries, and we have to look at it from a different perspective. So if you look at the total fatality, so over a period of 4 to 5 decades, so it is going up like anything. Exponentially, it is increasing. And as per the latest most statistics also, Here you can see the motorized two-wheelers, 35%, almost one third of the total accidents are because of this. And uh, uh, the bus and the truck, lorry, heavy vehicle percentage is also equally, and the car, the 24.3%. So this is the situation, current situation in India as per the latest statistics. So we need to look at the safety of this motorized two-wheelers and the particularly the vulnerable road users also. Then coming to this, so we have the one of the missionroadsafety.com, and there are some other websites are available, so where you can have a detailed look into the statistics. So I'm not going into those details, that is not our point of discussion, but just for your information, I gave this kind of a slides. Then coming to the first stakeholder, before we go for the discussion of this, who are the stakeholders and all those things, so one important element is we need to look at some aspects related to the drivers from the driver's point of view. So the vision difficulties in terms of the normal line of sight and limitations in terms of the color discrimination, so that has to be taken care in the design aspects. And always there is a limitations from the human eye, and okay, there are some reaction times and the color discriminations and the horizontal and vertical limitations have been taken care, but still a lot of research has to be required in this direction in identifying the human limitations, and in which direction, whether our design is as per the requirements of the road users, or is it something else is limiting the so this will be really helpful in designing the forgiving roads. So by chance, if a road user makes a mistake, so our design should be comprehensive enough to forgive the road user and give a chance for the survival. So that is the status as of now. Uh, Now we'll go further. So this is what the visual acuity is very narrow, that too particularly at higher speeds, and the fairly clear vision can be obtained along this. And always please remember that whatever the signs or markings we are giving to the road users, they must be within this limit. So that is fundamental. And the peripheral vision is almost like 120 degrees at a speed of at a very higher speeds of 80 kilometers per hour or so. So this is clearly visible as per this particular example, where you can see the horizontal curvature. This is an elevated road, and obviously it needs some kind of a so if you can see, this is what is required as per the driver's field of view, peripheral view, and all the signs and markings are clearly visible. Then further we'll just so this is one example where particularly during the night time, or during this period of time when the light is not proper, so this kind of a 50 kilometers per hour sign is not clearly visible. So that might be one reason, and we have to look at other ways of giving this information to the drivers, and maybe we have to repeat this signboard, and this kind of information won't be there in any kind of a code book, so where to repeat, so that has to be taken on a case-to-case basis. And in case in a situation, in this kind of a situation where a repeater sign is maybe required, so that has to be taken by the designer or the safety engineer, and that has to be clearly identified during the safety audit process. Yeah, now coming to this our topic, actual topic of our discussion. So who are the stakeholders? So if you look at the aspects related to the engineers, and so this is what we are here as a traffic engineer or road engineer. Then we have other role in terms of the planning of the road network. And if a proper care is taken during the planning process itself, then many of the future accidents can be avoided. And also, of course, we have a role as an academician or researcher, and the role of these three people is enormous. And this will decide the future course of action, where in which direction we have to move, and what kind of a safety practices are best suitable for a particular intersection. So these things are to be taken care by these stakeholders. Then there is another category of three other categories are there. That is enforcement professionals like the traffic police and or the authorities. Then we have the public health professionals, and of course general public. And whatever the care or whatever the safety audit is conducted, and whatever the academicians and researchers are doing, that if we are not properly involving the general public into this, and educating them, and making them to understand the say the meaning of this kind of a science, and what is the purpose for which it is made, then the whole exercise will be will not be successful. And that is the reason why the involvement of the general public also is very much essential in this kind of a exercise. And in brief, this is what I want to convey. So where, as an academician, as a researcher, what is the role we are playing? Okay, I'm involved in as a group in the transportation division of the NIT Warangal, and our faculty members and students are involved with so many works in suggesting, conducting some safety audits and all this thing. But that is not sufficient. Even there was a recent uh, 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 proposal regarding the inclusion of these academic institutes by the National Highway Authority of India. That point also will come. That is a good exercise, but how far it will be fruitful, we have to wait for at least 4 to 5 years and see that. And that is where the involvement of these academic institutes will play a major role. So that is the reason why the involvement of the stakeholders will be very much crucial in development of this. So there is a decade of action of road safety, and if you look at that, so these are some of the pillars that have been suggested. That includes in addition to the safe vehicles, so safe road users, and road safety management, the post-crash response. And in this direction, okay, there is a lot of improvement, and we have the most quickest response teams are there in some of the majority of the cities. So in that direction, it is well planned exercise, and that is a good point to observe that. But we, from the design point of view and from the implementation point of view, regarding the design aspects, we have to look at, and a lot of research is required in that direction. Then just I'll go through some of the design aspects. It may not be possible for me to cover all the aspects, but the major points I would like to cover. So any kind of a safety design objective is to reduce the severity of the potential conflicts. And when you say conflicts, it is not only the conflicts between the vehicle to vehicle. We need to consider the vehicle to pedestrian and vehicle to the infrastructure conflicts also. Okay, that is where we need to be extra cautious in determining the number of conflicts. And always the objective is the second most important point is facilitating the convenience, ease, and comfort of people. Not only people as well as vehicles. So here I would like to stress upon one point, that is regarding the allowing the natural path of the vehicle. So our design, whatever we are going to suggest, should involve should allow the natural path of the vehicles. And when we are deviating from the natural vehicular path, obviously there will be some kind of a conflict or some kind of a disturbance to the natural vehicular path. Whatever the design we have provided will lead to some kind of a incidents, whether it is a minor or major. It all depends on the speed levels and various other factors. So one more operational requirement is the sight distance. This is very important as from the design point of view, and minimizing the turnings and throw conflicts particularly. This is what I am saying, providing a natural path for the permitted movements. And I have just listed here, maybe I'll share the presentation with the organizers. Slowly you can have a detailed look into this. But the major points are the sight distance for all the approaches, a smooth flow, and discouraging the wrong movement, and integrated bicycle and pedestrian traffic. These are very important. And we have the smart city are planned, and in this definitely the integration of this pedestrian bicycle traffics will be definitely a good exercise which we can plan for it. And advanced guidance and lane assignment is another point to be considered in as a part of our design principles. So this is, and one more point is the gaps in the central reserve. This is becoming a nuisance in some of the cities, particularly not only cities, even on some highway sections where the median openings, the gaps in the median are kept wherever it is required or as per the wish of the some local people. So that is not a good point. So at least very close to the intersections, we must avoid some kind of gaps in the medians. And this is what the sight distance. So when I'm looking at it and when I'm moving at this, so obviously definitely there will be some kind of a disturbance or distraction. So there are some kind of advertisement boards maybe there. So always they'll play some role, of course. But I could not find any kind of a guidelines regarding this kind of a. There are some are there, but strict guidelines have not been implemented regarding the distance between the placement signs and other kind of advertisement signs. And even sometimes even this kind of a too many, or that something is removed here, then why we have to look at this point is this is the one reason. So if you look at the reaction time, so in the unexpected situation, this is the situation. But when I'm unexpecting and when I'm not observing the regular travel pattern or regular path of the vehicle, and something unexpected happens, definitely the reaction time is going to be increased. And all our designs are as per our reaction time, the regular reaction time of 2.5 seconds or whatever it is. But that is not the case in the case of unexpected. And when the reaction time is more, definitely the more distance is required to stop the vehicle, and that leads to. And here the point is the information content that is given. So that too in an unexpected situation, and when we are doing some multitasking, the driver is doing some multitasking. So when it is driving, when the driver is doing a driving task, it should be only driving. It can be as simple as changing the AC levels, changing the volume levels. That is also a distraction. And you are giving some information to your brain. The driver is giving, and that adds some bits to it. That, and when something unexpected happen, definitely the reaction time will be more. This is quite a common experience to all of us, but still we will do the same mistake. This is what has to be given give the information. So don't give the information regarding this kind of a technical terms, but give the information in a more simple way so that they can understand. Just simply giving information to the general public regarding the helmet use, regarding seat belt or something else, that won't serve the purpose. So they are always everybody nowadays the trend is everyone wants some logic, everyone wants some reason behind it, justification. Even as KG student also asking, my son is asking me some justification. Okay, why it is like this? What for? What is the reason behind that? So obviously, a general public also they need some kind of a justification. So we have to give that kind of education. Only then the general public will value this kind of a. Unless otherwise, if you just go for them kind of a general safety education, I don't think that will serve any kind of a larger purpose for which the road safety education is meant for. Of course, this is my view. You can always differ from that. Then the other point is regarding the intersections. So here we have the focus of activities there, and various conflicting movements are there. Just let me go to this point. Yeah, so this is a case of like a skewed intersection is there. So always instead of providing a direct intersection and joining with this, always it is better to provide a taper of minimum 90 meters. Then it will give the left turning vehicles some room and storage space, so that while the merging will be smoother and the path of the vehicles also will be smoother. Otherwise, if you just go for some kind of a just joining this is very crucial. Why I stressed upon this point here is on many highway sections, there are minor major road intersections are there where this kind of situations are prevailing, and obviously this kind of a proper channelization with the tappers uh, may give a room for the left turning and the right turnings, and the merging and diverging can be well taken care. And any kind of a intersection, these kind of intersections are where some lane changes are happening. So the merging and diverging are to be smooth. And if a sudden merge or sudden diverging is happening, always the drivers don't have the time to react to that kind of a sudden situations, and that leads to some kind of a conflict. So this is something like a chain reaction. Even a small change will lead to some kind of a problems. So the same is here. Here you can see. By the by, are you able to see any kind of a video here? Just now I played something. I don't think.
We are not able to see any change.
Yeah, okay. Then, okay, sorry. Just give me just a few seconds. I'll just stop the sharing. Maybe I forgot to share the whole screen. That might be the reason. Yeah, now it may be visible. Just have a look on this.
Yeah, yes.
Yeah, is it visible right now, the video?
Yes, sir.
Yes, fine. Yeah, sorry for that. Actually, previously also I played one video, then I sensed something is wrong. Okay, sorry for that. Okay, this is the situation. So I'm driving my vehicle, and of course I'm not filming at the same time. I'm not doing a multitasking. My scholar is sitting beside me, and he's filming that. And I just approached one intersection where it is on. Of course, there is only signal is there, but a flashing yellow, nothing else. So I almost raced to this particular place. It is a lot of vegetation, beautiful intersection. Everything is beautiful except the safety. Sorry for that. Yeah. Almost when I raised the starting point of the approach, the end of the approach of this leg of the intersection, then I observed that okay, there are some vehicles are coming and merging with my line of travel, and I'm planning to take a right turn. And if this is the situation during daytime, you can just imagine what happens during night time. And the reason is just simple: a proper side distance is not available here in this case. and I'm taking a right turn. So same is the case here also. Still, of course, but the video is not turned actually. So whatever the left turn is coming from the left of my side, so I don't have proper visibility, and you can just see here the kind of a situation you can see here. The damage, so they are the signatures of the accidents, but unfortunately they are for all the wrong reasons. And you can see whatever I just now I said, there is a median opening. So here the intersection is there, and hardly a few meters away from this, there is a opening is here. Somebody else is coming, and he is coming in the opposite direction. And if I am not familiar with this kind of a road, definitely I will see that okay, I don't expect a median opening here, and I don't expect a vehicle in the opposite direction. And if I'm not properly careful enough, then definitely that leads to some kind of incidents. So this is the issue with this kind of. So there is nothing wrong with this intersection except the side distance. So when a proper safe side distance is provided, forget about the beauty and the lawns and the kind of a fountains. We don't need them. As a designer, we are concerned about only the safety signs, markings. Road safety means road safety only, nothing else. When that can be guaranteed, yeah, majority of the problems can be solved. But which stakeholder is going to take a responsibility of this? Is it the designer, or is it the planner, or is it the academician like me, or the researcher who is going to take it up? And we need a massive exercise of throughout the country to take this forward. And I'm thankful to these organizers for giving me this opportunity to share these thoughts. And I request all the participants to make a point that whenever you find something like this, please take a video, not when you are driving. Take a video or photograph of that, and maybe intimate to your local authority, municipal authorities. That is what the least we can do it from our side, and let them decide what can be done. Maybe the local engineers can do that, but this is what is required. And a simple calculation, well, based on the design speed of the road, what is the safe stopping side distance required on the. So if you are assuming something like some design speed, this is d2 and this is d1, so minimum that side distance has to be guaranteed. That's all, as simple as that. So even the Murthy is also saying about the major minor road intersections, where if a vehicle is traveling on the major road, and when it has 8 seconds gap distance is corresponding to design speed of the major road. So suppose if it is traveling, the design speed is 80 kilometers per hour, then in 8 seconds, how much distance it can travel? Yeah, from that point, any vehicle on the minor road at least 15 meters. Okay. Here I am saying at least stopping side distance, SSD, the D2 is also, but at least if it in the case of a minor road, major road intersection, at least the 15 meters distance has to be clearly visible, and this is guaranteed. Okay, I'm not saying that this will reduce all the fatalities, all the accidents, but at least the fatalities can be reduced. So, and this kind of a side distance exercise may not need instruments, sophisticated instruments. A simple ranging rods with some kind of a tape and some other measurements can be easily taken up for this kind of a side distance study. And these are the codal recommendations regarding the design speed and that minimum visibility distance along the major roads as per the calculations. And any kind of a intersection where the minimum side distance are also listed, these are available. So just I'm giving some information regarding these things. But here keep in mind that the height of the eye is around 1.08 meters and 2.33 meters for the truck, and the height of the object is 60 centimeters. And of course, the reaction time is 2 points. So in all these side distance calculations, these are the assumed values. if any deviation is there in these things, that also has to be taken care. But that may not be there in the code book, but we have to look at it from the different driver's perspective, different vehicle perspective. And there are human limitations in this exercise also. A driver cannot perceive movement beyond 245 meters. So beyond one-fourth of a kilometer, whether it is a particular thing, vehicle is moving or not, you can't sense that. And beyond half a kilometer or so, the details are not clearly visible, and the vehicle appears to be a small at those distances, like a pinhead. So our design should be comprehensive enough to understand this limitation. And the more important is this. Whatever just now I showed you some video where the right turning is taking place, and I took some time to carefully maneuver the vehicle. And the total time required for this kind of operations may be around 8 seconds. But some people will do it in a matter of 2-3 seconds, expert drivers. But that kind of expertise may not be lucky enough to survive in the case of an incident. Yeah, that is what I'm just. So this is another case, another example of this kind of a side distance. Of course, since we are trying to videograph it, the truck driver is so careful. Otherwise, it could have been something else. I sense. And this is here also there is a lot of issues with side distance. And definitely, so you can just see this kind of the same intersection on the other side of the graph. So for this kind of intersection, so can we provide some kind of a redesigns, or what kind of alternatives can be there? So if you look at this, everything seems to be perfect. So this is another highway section, and a minor road is here. And you can see the more percentage of two-wheelers are available here. And this is a major black spot on this highway section. So there are a lot of signs, markings are available. Of course, some are not clearly visible, but still a lot of markings are there. But during the peak time, always there are many fatal accidents happen, it seems to be. But for these kind of things, every sign distance is properly available. Everything is so perfect as far as our design point of view is concerned. You can, but still, this is posing a problem. And they're managing, of course, with some time with the traffic police people, but 24 hours enforcement may not be possible. And in night time, due to the high speed of the vehicles, this is causing a worry. And we need some kind of a relook into these aspects, and what kind of a safety, extra safety measures we can suggest, that I am leaving it to the audience. So some kind of alternatives, but I don't suggest. I may not recommend this kind of things, except the some kind of a rumble strips and some more additional signs and markings. Except that I'm not recommending this. And this is another one. This is a so there is a drainage is there, and night time, even a slight mistake will lead to accidents. These kind of things are quite common. Another major aspect related to the design is regarding the bus stops. So obviously the bus parking or bus stop very close to the intersection or on the road itself. And a proper, regarding this, many guidelines are available. One such thing, just I showed you something like a bus bay, but even though there is a bus bay is there, there is a tendency of the drivers to park, to stop the vehicles on the road itself. And so here the proper education of the driver is also required. Yeah, then some more things like this. What is this sign? No right turn. This is the way of doing that? No. There is a proper sign and the dimensions are available for this. So this is where the local authorities have to be very careful in suggesting the proper signs and markings and replacing them time to time. And you can see this. Even a slight increase in the median or the may be required in these places to avoid this kind of movements. And this is one more typical intersection where some kind of many legs are intersecting with each other, and these are really a challenge for any kind of a design. And this is where we need to prove our ability in designing and suggesting some safety improvement measures for this kind of a laws sized intersection with the number of legs and all those things. And this kind of openings near to the intersections. Here also the same whatever the intersection you have seen just now. So this is the kind of a ground situation. And this merging and diverging was not proper. So the merging angle and the diverging angle always play a major role in this kind of intersections. Yeah, so this is on the highway side, and something is coming and merging at some angle. So these are properly to be established, and we need to look at the movement of this channelizing island placements, and we have to look at some redesign. Whenever we are suggesting some redesign, we have to look at the vehicular movement, and we should not go blindly with some kind of a redesign. So we have maybe we have to place some blocks, concrete blocks, and see that the way natural path of the vehicle is guaranteed and the merging is happening at the right phase. Then that design can be guaranteed. So always before going for a final design, we have to test it for some time on the road. So this is also we are involved with some of these things like this. So the previous situation was like this. I don't know what is the shape of that island and all those things. Don't ask me. But this is what I suggested. We suggested with a proper channelizing and just not much in terms of the redesign, but just reducing the extra portions and making a proper smooth curve, and the transition of the from the straight portion to the curved portion and around the rotary, that can be guaranteed. Even your capacity can be increased, along with that the safety also is guaranteed. This is the present situation after the improvement, and we are looking at identifying whether this improvement is really good enough in reducing the delays on the increasing the safety. So that work we are planning still, it is under pipeline. This is another intersection, but not much we could do it here because of the intersections, the placement of so many legs are there, and shape of the intersection we could not do much. But again, I'm planning for some kind of redesign and any kind of safety from the safety point of view. So we may have to look for additional details, and some more additional markings and signs may be required. Yeah, so that is about some of the design aspects. So I another 10-15 minutes time to wind up. So one more thing is regarding the is there any issue? Can someone confirm?
No, sir. Please proceed.
No issues, right? Okay.
No issues, sir.
No, right. Okay, thank you. Okay, then there is a traffic calming measures. So there is a long list of traffic calming measures is available, like a raised cross, neck down, narrowing. But one measure like a rumble wonders in every situation. It won't be the case. We have examples where rumble strips, after introduction of rumble strips, for just a few weeks, the vehicular speeds are reducing, but after some time, after one driving, and so they are only some kind of a shorter measures. We need of safety improvements, and the speed management is really the major factor to be considered from the driver's point of view, from the vehicle point of view, from the designer point of view, from the road design point of view, and whatnot. From holder is involved in the speed management, and what the speed driver will result in the subsequent safety of the intersection, safety of the road, entire road section. And one more important point here is the speed zoning. So if you can look at this, so there is a speed limit sign of 60 kilometers per hour. Then slowly it is reducing per hour on the highway section, then to that after the intersection is crossed, then it is increasing to 30, 50, 60. A gradual introduction of signs and speed zoning may be good enough. Instead of design speed of 100 kilometers per hour to 30 kilometers per hour. You may ask to place the speed limit signboards with a guarantee that those kind of speed reductions will really work out or not. But as a designer, as an engineer, it is our responsibility to do that. If some driver is not allowing that, they give some kind of a penalty, or we have the speed enforcement NPR cameras are available right now. So slowly the change has to come from the driver's point. But planners or design engineers, it is our responsibility to look into these aspects. So this is one important point. Yeah, one more thing is the speed break. I don't want to say this. I'm leaving it to your imagination. Okay, speed reduction is required, but I have no comments on this. This is what is the speed breaker that is suggested as per our IRC code of standards, but the implementation is the issue here. There is a cause for safety here. The safety, that element was introduced, but that is safety. That estimate from Tamil Nadu, I think, right? Yeah, the number of speed bumps identified across the cities, across the places, and which are not properly as per the Indian Roads Congress. So that news was something related to, but that location is from. Yeah, so then I have seen something like this on a national highway section. So you can see some 3D speed breakers from Delhi, but all these things will work, not always. I'm not going into those details. So the impact of speed in dry conditions plus travel per hour used within that 45 meters. It is good enough. We can't do that. Obviously, there will be some issues. So even if just a simple 5% cut in average speed can result in a % reduction in the traffic. That is the reason why our design should focus primarily on the speed management. That is what the point I mentioned initially itself. And just improving the top 10% highest risk roads in each country over a prevent millions of deaths. We might definitely, yeah, some like this, nighttime, nothing can be visible. Yeah, one more point is so regarding the alignment. So is it required for this kind of alignment? Can we go with a more promisable curves other than this? Well planned during the planning stage itself. Yeah, so that is about the design perspective and the stakeholders involvement. Then another 5-10 minutes. So regarding there is a global roadmap for safer vehicles in terms of so all the vehicles must be have ESC. Nowadays, many of the car models are coming with this kind. Then and even motorcycle anti-locking brakes and autonomous emergency braking is, but that is not that we have to wait for a longer period of time. But as per the global roadmap for several vehicles, these are the recommendations that have been given. So here comes so we need to evolve in terms of taking some appropriate actions, implement the appropriate measures and intervention, some of these things. But whether really the outcome is improved performances in terms of reduction in the mean travel speeds. So this is where our academician
Sir, please proceed, sir.
Have a key role in identifying the proper measures and whether really they are effective or not, and measuring the difference in the final outcomes. So this is the of the academicians and researchers as stakeholders in doing this kind of action outcome and impact assessment. Then other factors, quickly I'll just go through them. The role of the organizations is there should be a lot of industry interaction should be there. And in this direction, I was mentioning some few minutes that National Highway Authority of India is collaborating with IITs and other engineering national highway stretches. Point, and here we can do a lot, and institute is contributing to this exercise. We can see that at least after 5 years or after 1 decade, a drastic reduction in the number of accidents. And here the role of the field engineers and the role of the students is also very important. Now, just the last few slides. So you might have heard about this particular. Let me. Okay, just you might accident in the recent past, just a few days back in the US near. So there was a multiple collisions, more than 100 vehicles were involved. And several people were injured and there were fatalities, number of fatalities were there. So the major reason was the snowfall, but in spite of the best of the design, best of the safety measures that have been adopted on this kind of highway sections, such a kind of a major fatal accidents, multiple collisions happened involving more than 100 vehicles. So here comes so I am speaking about the role of the environment. So when we have everything is in control, but it is not the case. The environment is the nature itself is you can see, you can understand from this the situation. Yeah, so that is the case. So the environment is also very important as a stakeholder, and we can even in spite of our best of the designs, when the environment is not good enough, we are going to fail. I mean to say, as a driver or whatever it is. Then I just came across some of these things, accidents, fate, and destiny. So, in spite of our best efforts, if something is going wrong and a fatality is happening, then it is left to the destiny. So, we don't have any. I don't have any comments on that, and the destiny is like that. Okay. So, shall we conclude that okay, all the accident that happened is because of destiny? No, maybe it is a driver fault, maybe it is a fault with our design perspective, maybe a fault with the improper or not a improved performance measures have been not implemented properly, proper care is not taken in implementing the safety measures, just like the case of a speed breaker or something else. So definitely if there is a will, we can change the destiny of several people. That is my perspective. So the safety mantra is just simple. So it should be an inclusive design. It should be a case like there should be a role of each and every stakeholder in the design process, and it should be safety centered, not mobility centered. Safety, safety, safety is the mantra. And visualizing beyond the codes and standards. Codes and standards are as a guideline, but sometimes we may have to look beyond the code books and from the perspective of the road user and the driver and the pedestrian. And always some kind of a visual guidance has to be given to the road user in a proper selection of, and this will make the self-explaining roads or the forgiving roads. And that is the future of our safety. And to end, the last point is a little patience is required from the road users. You can just and a little respect for other vehicles, other life. I don't want to play this. This is one incident that happened near to Hyderabad in Bhuvanagiri. So where these three people are without helmets, and that this was hit by this car, and they were just thrown away. And I think one spot death was there. So they are engineering students. If they could have if they could have waited just for a few seconds, let the vehicle pass through, then we can proceed. Then the two lives could have been saved. So it is not only simply effective measures or whatever it is. We have to. This is the land of patience. We have to create. Every road user must have some kind of a little few seconds waiting time, nothing more than that. So that is my final point. So this is the I already told you regarding the self-explaining and forgiving roads, and road safety embedded planning and design, and regular safety audit exercises every year should be conducted, and more importantly the involvement of the general public. When all the stakeholders are involved and they come out with awareness at schools and colleges regarding this, then definitely our future will be much more beautiful. So with that, I'll just like to close, and thank you for the kind attention, and any questions, quick questions can be taken up. And sorry, I might have taken a 5 minutes more time.
It's nap time, sir. Thank you very much, sir. We are on time. Thank you very much, sir.
Yeah, thank you, Leo.
And I quickly request the participants to post your queries, or either you can unmute and talk
Hello, sir.
to the professor. Yes.
Hello, sir.
Yeah, please tell me.
Sir, I am audible.
Yes, you are audible. Please tell me.
Yes, sir, go ahead.
Sir, very nice session, sir. I really enjoyed a lot.
Yeah, but please educate your friends, family members, and your colleagues regarding the safety.
Sir, I am Sadish Kumar from Madurai.
Okay.
PTR, I am working as an assistant professor at the PTR College of Engineering from
Okay.
Tamil Nadu, sir.
Okay. Okay.
I pursue my PhD research scholar at Alagappa Chettiar College at Karaikudi.
Okay.
My doubt is, what is the role of PIV theory? That is perception, intellection, emotion, and violation theory
Mm-hmm.
in your traffic studies, sir. What is the role of this theory in the traffic studies? Main role.
PIEV theory you're
Yes, sir.
asking about, right?
Yes, sir, yes, sir.
So that PIEV actually based on that we said like the 2.5 seconds reaction time is there, and all those things. But my perception is we have to understand that theory from a different perspective, in terms of how the road user is basically understanding it. As a driver and as a pedestrian, if you look at the pedestrians, when they are a simple case like a crossing a intersection, when the pedestrians perceive something and whether they are really good enough in understanding the speeds of the vehicles, whether they are really estimating the correct speeds, whether their judgments is clear enough. And there is something called a concept of the dilemma zone regarding the pedestrian crossing. And when we can do this kind of a research in terms of understanding the pedestrian perspectives, so that plays a major role in redefining our code standards or the design aspects. That is what I can say.
Okay, sir. Thank you so much, sir.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you
Sir,
so much.
Namaskar. Namaskar. This is Satyamurthy, sir, from Coimbatore Kumaruru College of Technology, sir. First of all, nice presentation, sir.
Thank you.
Congratulations for that. Sir, my question is, even we are hearing about the penalty on slow-driven vehicles on a good traffic road, sir, in foreign countries. How long it will take for India to impose those kind of fines, sir, for slow driving on a good traffic road, sir?
Oh,
Is it
slow
somewhere?
driving on a okay. So if the operating speed is like 80 kilometers per hour, you are driving at 50 kilometers
60,
per hour.
then we heard that there are penalties is imposed on the driver because of slow driving on a designated speed traffic.
Right. Yes.
In how long it will take in India to have this kind of the practices, sir? Just to
Okay. You are asking for that. Okay, that is okay. But before that, I have sorry. I am putting a question for your question. Is it required for our Indian conditions, basically?
because nowadays people are talking about maybe the high speed road network, all those things, sir.
Right.
But because the traveling time can be reduced, in that perspective, things are happening, or things are also advancing nowadays.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe I just being an expert, maybe in transportation,
Right.
he may be the right person to
But
give
from the safety point of view, I don't recommend penalizing a slow driver. When somebody is driving at slow, maybe there may be number of reasons. Mobility is not important. Safety is the most important thing, nothing else. So as a with my little experience of nearly a decade or so related to this aspects, what I recommend is don't penalize them. Just simply, maybe we can reward them.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much.
Since it's a mixed traffic condition, obviously,
Yes.
we should not have.
Thank you. Sir, thank you for the answer, sir. Sir, one more question, sir. Nowadays, because of the smart city development, all those things, sir,
Right.
people are talking about maybe the maybe what you call circuit roads along the city centers.
Right.
How maybe what is there any design criteria for that, sir, or it is better to have this kind of roads maybe in smart cities like 100 smart cities of India, sir? Hello, sir. Am I audible, sir? Hello, sir. Hello, am I audible, sir?
Yes, you are audible.
Do we need those kind of the circuit roads are maybe essential in smart cities, sir, to avoid congestion especially in the central business unit of?
Yes, definitely. That will be a good point, because always when we have some alternative routes are there, definitely it will be good enough. but we have to look at from the perspective of other points also. They should not result in unnecessary. Sometimes what happens is there will be too much diversion and one link will be so congested. So that should not happen. The proper care has to be taken.
Sir, I have posted. You can see something in the chat box.
Yes, chat box. There is one question. What is post encroachment time regarding unsignalized traffic intersection? What are the methods, especially to measure this PET? Okay, so this is whenever a vehicle is approaching an unsignalized uncontrolled intersection kind of a thing. So when some other vehicle from the other direction, other leg, when it is crossing that, what is the time gap or the time gap between the vehicle that has crossed and the immediate next vehicle from the other direction. So that is what is called actually post encroachment time. So there are some methods are available from the standards. Maybe just I gave you can just mail it to me, then I'll come out with some more things. And there is another question. I think what are the software you use to study the road safety problems in urban areas? Okay, regarding the software, there is one thing, PTV Wisdom Safety is one tool I came across, but strictly speaking, in exclusive software just for the use of the road safety problems, I never came across for such kind of a exclusive tool. But PTV Wisdom Safety is one tool that is used for this some kind of exercise. And there is one more thing, actually data from sky is there. Data from sky, you can just note it down, data from sky. So they have some safety analysis tools are available using the video image processing. So that is one more recently I came across. Yeah, Girish, I think.
Yeah, I think this is okay. So I just want
sir, Pala sir, with your permission.
Yes, please, sir.
Sir, only this is for just to have a clarification from you, sir, because being the transportation person. Sir, though we know pretty well, the city speed limit is maybe 20 and safe speed is 40 to 50. What is the need that speedometers are having more than 100 kilometers per hour? Sir? What is the need to have it, sir?
Yeah, that is what actually this is one point from the vehicle point of view. And there is one more thing. If you see the advertisement, they will say 0 to 100 kilometers per hour in 6 seconds or 7 seconds, something like that. So are you encouraging over speeding and over acceleration? So that is not a good sign. Actually, you are very much right. For the heavy vehicle, there is a speed limit limitation is there, and that has been implemented. So as a way from the vehicle point of view, definitely this has to be considered and proper recommendations are to be suggested. That is a good point you have raised.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Right. And just you can, some people are asking for my mail ID and all those things. So you can just visit the NIT Warangal website and maybe you can get it. Otherwise, Dr. Girish, if you have them all the mail IDs of these people, you can just I'll share the presentation. In that also, my website and all those information is available.
Well, sir, I must say the participants are had a great knowledge with this. I must say Dr. Ravishankar has given a very fabulous future directions towards this road safety and role of stakeholders as a part of this program. He started with different aspects like road safety scenario in global and Indian scenario, and he talked about stakeholders, and he talked about role of road users, and talked about various design aspects, and gave insights on forgiving and self-explaining roads, and talked about the role of organizations and the role of academia and research to take the road safety. And he talked about the role of environment too. So it is our time. It is time to all of us to understand the need and necessity towards the society and towards improving, promoting the road safety. So I wish this program and this session is exclusively very useful and handy. Thank you very much, sir, for your kind acceptance and for your presentation. Thank you very much.
Thank you, one and all.
Thank you very much, sir. Who is the participants to give feedback using this link? Posted the feedback link for this current session. So kindly go through the form and give your feedback. And we have one more session on tomorrow's about 5 p.m. again. It is 5. I'll just check and let you know. Yeah, it is at 5:30. Yes. 5:30. So we'll meet again on day 3 at 5:30 p.m. sharp. Murthy sir, thank you.
A pleasure. The timing is very good, sir. Because after even doing the routine work, we could be able to attend, sir. And moreover, I really admired the way, the pace Ravi sir explained the concept. He was almost on galloping speed. So he nicely explained with. Usually, when we take some classes to push up the things, we may be in a hurry. But Ravi sir, he almost went slide by slide with a wonderful pace.
With a lot of patience, because he wants to develop us patience.
Yeah. So thank you, Pala sir, for giving the opportunity. Whenever sir visit Coimbatore, kindly have the privilege, sir.
Yes, sir, sure, sir. I'm eagerly waiting to meet you in person.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Satish. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you,
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Thank you, sir.
I request all to give a feedback so that we can meet once again in tomorrow's session at 5:30 p.m. If you had given your feedback, you can leave the session. We'll wait for a while and then we'll end the session.